Hello guys, and I'm going to get right into it today. Today we're comparing the Rolex Submariner 114060, the non-date version, versus the Tudor Black Bay Heritage ETA version. Now the reason I'm comparing the ETA version and not the new in-house version is because this model was released closer to the release date of the ceramic non-date Submariner. Now starting with the Tudor on some basic specifications on this piece, you can find them for about $3,000 on the gray market brand new. Now it is using an ETA 2824 movement, a great reliable movement produced by ETA. The power reserve not being so great at 38 hours though. The lume on this watch is the C3 Super Luminova, which is pretty good. It does have a 41mm diameter and a 12.7mm thickness, 50mm lug to lug. The water resistance on this piece, it is kind of a diving watch, or it is a diving watch. It is 200 meters, which is pretty good for the price point, and it's a Tudor. Now it is using 316L stainless steel, much different than the Rolex. The bezel is unidirectional, and it is only 60 clicks. It's pretty good, but if you handle one in person, it's definitely not as good as the Submariner. It's kind of hard to grab. If you held one in person and tried to rotate it, your fingers kind of slip off. In my opinion, it's a little too thin. Alright, anyway, we do not have a diver's extension on the stainless steel bracelet. It's just basically you have the little micro adjustments on the clasp. Of course, solid end links, that's a no-brainer here. We do have a larger crown than the Submariner, and we do have that nice little rose on the crown also. Now let's get into some specifications on the Rolex Submariner ceramic. Now the Rolex Submariner is about double the price and a little more at about $7,000 gray market or $6,900 maybe. Retail is $7,500. Now it is using the 3130 in-house manufactured movement made by Rolex. Now the lume on this watch is the Chromalight lume, which is really nice. It shines like a bluish hue, and it's really nice when it's fully lit up there. The power reserve is more than the Tudor at 48 hours. The diameter is 1 millimeter less at 40 millimeters. Now the thickness is a little less also, 0.2 millimeters less at 12.5 millimeters, 48 lug to lug, 2 less than the Tudor. Water resistance, you are getting 100 meters more than the Tudor at 300 meters. It does have a sapphire crystal with no treatment to it, just like the Tudor. But the steel on this piece is 904L stainless steel compared to the 316L stainless steel used on the Tudor. And this is surgical grade stainless steel. It's harder to scratch, dent, and it's a bit tougher there. The bezel is unidirectional, and it's much smoother and precise than the Tudor. It is not 60 click, it is 120 clicks. Now the clasp does have the glide lock extension. There is no micro adjustments on this watch. You adjust it using the glide lock or removing links if you'd like. And so with all that information, let me give you guys a second to take all that in. Alright, so basically the Tudor is Rolex's sister brand or brother brand, whatever you want to call it. Tudor was meant to be a more affordable option by Hans Wilsdorf, the creator of Rolex. That was his dream, to create a dependable watch, just as dependable as a Rolex with great reliability, a very high quality watch, but not costing as much and not as much time into making one, basically. It's not as refined as the Rolex, but it still has that Rolex reliability. And he definitely did that. But anyway, the power reserve, not too great on the Tudor in my opinion. There are definitely watches, diving watches with higher power reserves using ETA movements that you can get for even cheaper. Now the lume is great. The thickness is okay. It's a bit thicker than the Submariner. Water resistance at 200 meters. I think it should be at least 300 meters for a Tudor diver. But I guess it has to differentiate itself from the Submariner in some way. Now the crystal, standard sapphire, nothing really there. The steel is a big difference, 316L compared to 904L. It's when you finish the steel in a nice brushed finish, the 904L steel looks much better if you can compare the two side to side. The bezel rotation is a big thing here. Now the bezel on the Submariner is amazing. It's probably the best diving bezel, if not in the world. I have yet to rotate a diving bezel better than the Submariner, and I've handled many, many watches. Now the bezel on the Tudor, not that great. It's not as smooth and buttery as the Submariner. It's really hard to grasp. If you own one or you held one, you definitely know what I'm talking about. And for 60 click, I'm not really into the 60 click, but it does have its advantages and disadvantages. Also, another big thing here is the glide lock extension. I mean, you really can't beat it compared to micro adjustments. Now, of course, another big thing is the movement, which is the 3130 in-house Rolex movement, a proven movement, and it's a great reliable movement. Now the ETA movement, of course, it's a great reliable movement. ETA movements are great, but they're not as good as Rolex in-house movements. And the power reserve being a bit longer on the Rolex movement also. Now with all that being said, obviously the Submariner is going to win in this battle here. But you are getting a hell of a watch when you buy a Tudor Black Bay with an ETA movement. You're paying about $3,000 new. If you buy from an authorized dealer, you're more likely then to get a discount on the Tudor than the Rolex. But also, you know, Tudor does have the new in-house movements, but I'm not comparing those. That would be a whole different ball game comparing those movements. But the new Tudor movement is not. I just want to say the new Tudor movement is not. It hasn't been used for so many years like the Rolex movement, so we really don't know what's going to happen with that movement. And all that being said, the Tudor is a great buy for about $3,000 on the gray market. The Rolex is also a great buy. Both of these watches really don't lose that much value when you buy them for a decent price. If you buy them pre-owned, also you're really not going to lose barely anything on both of them. So yeah, we have two great watches here, one being a step below the Tudor Black Bay Heritage. Still a great watch. The Rolex being the king of this watch, in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think the Tudor is better than the Rolex? Do you think the Rolex is a little too expensive and you're not getting as much? What's your pick? If you had the money to spend, would you buy the Rolex? Would you buy the Tudor? Let me know in the comment section below. And there's going to be a lot more stuff coming this week. I have a couple watches coming. Another company is sending me some different stuff. So that'll be cool. And stay tuned, guys. Bye.